telling somebody that like usually when I get eggs, I used to get my eggs and then it was like all this, but it's part comedy routine sometimes. But please come back and it's house usually not this big and but it's a fun crowd. So we oftentimes have pictures. There's not a lot of pictures of what we're going to talk about today. So I looked and I don't have pictures, but we always have maps. And we try to start on Gay Street on one of the corners and we go this way and that way. Last week was West Vine, but it got rained out. So I'm going to make reference to West Vine and just try to fill you in on stuff over there. And then I think next week is Depot. So we're just heading down the street in the same kind of format. And I'll have more pictures over there. There's some really cool stuff. So let's just start by taking a look around. And what do you guys notice? Like, what is this intersection kind of? What's interesting about this intersection? It's different. Hey, parking. Hey, parking. Okay, yeah, there's the comedy. Yeah.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge. It's a bridge, and we're going to talk about
technically
this bridge.
It's a viaduct.
Right.
A viaduct is over land. A bridge is over water. I mean,
But there's an underneath to this.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So the thing I'm getting at is what the bridge is over is railroad, right? So your landmark date is kind of like in the 1850s, Knoxville's trains became evolved, right? We got our first train.
Did you get that? Wowzers.
I got the sound.
Yeah. Because what if you come in here?
Yeah.
Well, that pole would have stopped him.
1850s, middle of the 19th century trains. So let's head this way because trains are an important topic today. You want to go with me?
Jennifer? Yes.
We're coming to meet your group, so we'll just go right there.
There you go. Just fall in.
Okay. New Market. Yeah, it came from that direction. There was a big train wreck in New Market. Yeah. It's also where I live.
Well, that's cute.
I know. This place is much different.
They kind of stole the W from Wallace on that.
I know.
Hey, we're gonna stop at Knox Whiskey Works when we get up to the top.
What was the attraction on West Vine that we missed last week?
Well, it got rained out.
I know.
And I'm gonna talk about West Vine a little bit as we get. I'm gonna try to fold it all in. Okay. Oh yeah.
Nope, we must be stopping.
So, how many of you all have hung out in the old freight depot over there? There's a restaurant over there. There's a bar over there. Yeah. So I've got this map here from 1884, and as I get finished with the maps, I just send them out and let you look at them. So on the way back, you can investigate. But there was another building like that here. We talk about things that are missing, and then also the railroad office was here, right here in the corner. And I wish I had a picture of it.
Wasn't there one on the other side also?
Yeah, so we're right here.
Yeah.
So it's just there's two of them.
That's what I remember.
That's the railroad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know when it
I'm
was
that old.
torn down. Yeah, if you are that old, and sometimes I am, and you remember a building, let us know. There's going to be something a lot of us remember up here on the right side. But I also, on the topic of trains, somebody was just asking which line this was. And this was, at one point, the ETV and G, which is, of course, different than the L and N. and it came from Newmarket. And if you guys want to look something up for later, there was a big train wreck in Newmarket early on at the early 20th century. I live like right by where the wreck happened. So that train is the same line, if you guys are familiar with that story. And then Leslie's here from inside of Knoxville, and she sent out an article that's about the train coming back. So talk to Leslie about that. So good, yeah.
Leslie took over Alan Sam's job. So she is the. Do you do it by yourself? So she is the new inside of Knoxville.
You said there were railroad office buildings on both sides.
The freight depots were on both sides, just like that building over there. There was one over here, and then the railroad office, which Keith remembers.
Were
And
there
I don't remember.
multi-story buildings or warehouses? Or
It went up, the viaduct was lower.
Mm.
It went up.
It was like 2 or 3
maybe 2
stories.
stories above
Yeah.
the viaduct,
I've-
I recall.
Vaguely remembered. I looked for a picture. I couldn't. Maybe there's one in the newspaper. But you can see the station over there on the other side of the train tracks as we go by. All right, let's head on up. So.
There's another closed restaurant.
Oh yes.
It's cool. I mean, it's like sitcom-y, very
was
like
the viaduct built at the same time Gay Street was raised, or were those two separate events?
We're going to talk. So the viaduct happened. We're going to talk about land when we come back down. We'll show you. But it is. So last Sunday we got rained out of Vaughn Avenue, and it makes me sad because there's some cool stuff to talk about on Vaughn Avenue, including the old library. So there's a lot missing, and there's a lot of new stuff. But I want everybody to notice how, like, this is a hill here, right? I never think of it. Like, I never think of how the geography goes straight up to, like, come over here and stand here. And on this map, a lot of excavation has happened around these buildings. Like, when I pass this map around, I've got the dates written on them. Notice the line, the kind of, like, topographical line, and how it moves from the 1884 to the 1890. They did a lot of excavation.
So
Here,
this was just a naturally sloping hill, and they dug into
yeah,
the
they've
hillside.
dug into it. Yeah. And so up here, you know, at the turn of the 20th century, there's residences up there now, but this was houses up here, right, in the 1890s. So that, you know, real estate, the high up real estate. I don't have pictures, but they look like fairly nice houses. They're not tiny, they're not huge mansions, but you know, the real estate and geography. Right? Okay, so we'll head up.
I think there was one stretch of like a place
Uh-huh.
that they were at an angle, Divine and Scaresdale now.
Yeah, and this section. Yeah.
That was the street.
And I have seen pictures of it. It's pretty cool. But it is like that. It's like Ryan's Road, what they call Ryan's Road. Yeah. Okay, so we'll head up.
Ronnie just pulled up. We'll talk about McClung.
Yes, we're going to make a big point of that.
That's what I should be doing right there. I won't put it on camera.
Having a run?
Yep. I shouldn't put it on camera, but that's what I should do. Oh,
Oh,
she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna run through those people."
They thought it was kind of like, so that's what they did.
Oh wow, this place is hopping.
Social Valley Park. But everyone acts like there wasn't any. There was.
Yep. Although the sun's not too bad.
I mean, I don't know.
Holy crap.
I think that's the big one.
Your first one always is.
Yes. And those are little things. So, I got a few points to make here. So around the corner is Balter Beer Works, and that's a gas station. I try to bring up real estate agents. I definitely always try to bring up horses because they're important to me and also important to the evolution of transportation. So you're going to hear, if you haven't been here before, a little bit about that. Ronnie, where are you at? I did live on here. I forgot. Okay. So Ronnie and I did, yeah, I tried to point out somewhere I lived here, right around here. So I just remembered.
So where did you live?
Down briefly, I'll show you when we get over
Okay.
there. Yeah. Okay. So, up here, what I was seeing is Balter Beer Works. That used to be gas station. Has anybody been downtown and been like, oh my gosh, I'm out of gas, where I got to get to the gas station? Right. They're not really right in downtown, but there was a time when there were gas stations in our central business district, and that was one of them on the edge. Of course, that came in after you get rid of horses, right? You need a gas station. The other thing that's missing is right along here, the McClung warehouse. And when I pass this around, in addition to noticing how this got cut out, I want you to notice how the McClung, it was wholesale hardware. And it was a beautiful big building, big series of buildings. And I've highlighted them. So I want you to notice, these go in order from the 1884 map to the 1924 with 1950s updates. But I'm going to go ahead and send this around for the walk down and let you all look at it. But I want to make the point that what we're going to talk about from here on out is a lot of industry, right? You're on the railroad, so there's going to be a lot of industrial uses around here, which are now, a lot has changed. Like the gas station is, you get a beer in there now, and a lot of these buildings have become residential areas, one of which I lived in, and things change and evolve. So we'll head back down and go into train. Oh, on that map, notice that Jackson Avenue doesn't continue all the way to Broadway on the early ones. There's a house there. It like dead ends right at the back of Balter Beer Works, and there's a house there for a long time. So on that first map, that 1884 map, it doesn't continue through. We're going to talk about how it stops down here too. Oh yeah.
Friend of mine said we're going to go get our fortune stolen one night. So
Oh.
we went in one of them houses. Lady, black lady, 50 cents. We got her fortune stolen.
What was your fortune? Did it come true?
Still waiting on that package.
Oh,
So how many of y'all remember the big warehouse here?
I do.
I do. And when it burned.
I remember.
Yeah, sad day. Sad day. Let's say it was circular lumps that night, and we came with my boyfriend, came down. I was like, hey, we should park your car. And he was parked right here. On the elevator.
Wow. Wow.
So we'll head back. And feel free if you guys have questions or thoughts or see something on that map that's cool that you want to share. That's what the walk back is for.
What's up, buddy?
Well,
At least
I've
it,
been trying to stay in the shade.
at least the car wasn't electric. It would have really melted then, wouldn't it?
Because it was literally right around the corner from the house. And I was talking to,
Jennifer?
yeah. Okay. Well, I worked with her. She
Like
wasn't
two
involved.
feathers or three feathers.
She was
Supposed to be hard. One time. And Harold Shersky, Harold
Yeah.
Pusher Style Hilly,
Yeah.
said his brother operated this.
Oh wow! I didn't. That's a good thing to look up. Yes.
John Sanders owns this. I remember when this. Do you know what this was before?
Glass.
Because
Is
this
this
used to
Wilson
be
Glass?
empty.
Yeah, Wilson Glass.
He
It's in
had
your picture.
It's in my picture.
Yeah, the picture you
The
posted,
picture.
Wilson.
Yeah.
back in the '90s. He had a motorcycle 555 club. It was everyone parked their motorcycles in this open building, and I photographed it somewhere. I got the photos of it. It was one of the best parties I've ever been to, and it was to the
I'll
sky.
look that up.
Because it was no fair.
I'll look that up in the newspaper.
Two feathers or three feathers, something like that. And, yeah, I mean, former county executive, county executives, Mike Pessel was the one he remembered the name also. That would have been before the railroad.
Yeah. And that did become a hotel. It's Marshall Hotel first. It was I've been doing good. And you got like hot and was like, you know what I mean? Like you sort of are like, I can't anymore. You know what I mean? Oh, can you come this year? I'll make sure you get on the list. Yeah, it's the third annual. It's big. It's standing room only in my house. Yeah. I may have to get a tent or something. I don't know.
I just remember when they tore down. You know, they did
Oh no. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm just
I probably Yeah, that's not a good environment.
Do you remember, Keith remembered the railroad office?
Well, it was a warehouse. It looked like that.
Yeah,
Building was
yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's called Western Carload.
yeah,
And they would take stuff off a train, boxcars, put it on trucks,
yeah.
or bring a truck in, take it off the truck, put it on train cars, go
Yeah.
someplace.
Is that where that picture was on Facebook you were
Yeah,
talking about?
where the truck was back, and then you
Yeah.
can't see the building because it looked like that. It was over here, and yeah, Western Carload in the 70s and 80s. That was the name of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember when the building was pulled down.
Yeah, I don't either.
It was like a freight truck, like Dupont had down at the Helen Head
Yeah.
Depot. They had the same thing down there, not as big as this, but
You
they
can
did the same thing down there.
go on the L&N, yeah. Yeah. So does everybody notice the brick road, the old brick road? Yeah, that's just a cool feature. So there's a lot to say at this intersection. One thing is, before the railroad, this was just a swampy area called Flag Pond. And they did a lot of work to let the railroad come through. And then in 1919, they raised this, and Holly pointed out, now we have a viaduct, right, that goes over the railroad. And that raising in 1919 is what created the underground shops in this block. How many of you guys have visited Knoxville History Project? Yeah, if you go down there, it's underground. So the first floors of the building are now the basement, right? So they raised them and went on over, and there was, yes.
You go right up there, the other side of Skirty Lofts, and look, you can look down at 3 people's decks below the sidewalk.
Yeah.
There's one little spot up there that you can stand and look down,
And
and
see
you can
down,
see,
yeah, right
you can
there.
see down just the area there. They've got like a little porch or something outside of those.
There, yeah.
So you can see it.
So is they refurbished then?
Yeah, there's offices down there for some people. Yeah. And apartments. Yeah. So this building was, on the map that's floating around, you'll see it's a restaurant and eventually became the hotel upstairs. And this is also the area that got kind of excavated quite a bit from that 1884 map to the 1890 map. Right? And everybody remembers Harold's. And Keith just told me that this was maybe like a 2 feathers or 3 feathers bar that was associated with Harold and Harold. So I'm going to look that up. I'll research that and then put it on the local Lore Facebook page. So if you have stuff or things that come out sometimes.
Right here?
Yeah.
This was a place that had homeless people.
That was later.
That was
80s
later.
or 90s.
Yeah.
This Tennessee Armature was right here. That's not where that guy was walking out. Right here, Tennessee Armature. They moved out off Cherry Street. They were right there. They worked on motors and electric motors and stuff like that, repairing and stuff. And there was several homeless people would hang out on the cars. So you got out of the truck, you locked the truck up, you just be safe. But it was some kind of, it may have been religious or some organization.
Volunteer ministry center.
Like,
Volunteer ministry center.
it might have been. I just remember that's what was here.
Okay, so now imagine Jackson Avenue ends right here. This is the end of Jackson Avenue, right? And what happens, this is vacant, and just on the other side of this building was Post and Simmons, which later became Post and Company. Ronnie will know this place on Sutherland Avenue, Post and Company. Anybody ever noticed that?
They sold buses.
They sold buses, yeah. They started out making horse carriages. And their office, again, this was vacant, and there was Jackson Avenue. This was a big open lot, or open factory lot, right? On the other side, Hardy picked up for what is now Jackson, right? So when you look at the map I'm going to hand around here, you're going to notice there's no Jackson. It's not there, right? Later it goes in and hooks up with Hardy, and that is what becomes Jackson Avenue.
Okay, so what was this called down here?
Jackson.
Okay. People lived in here.
I don't know.
Why is the Catholic Church facing this way?
I don't know.
Jack Neal will tell you.
Jackson.
Because this was Herman Town or Irish Town or something known at one time. People lived under the section for that. Was either German or the Catholic Church
Looked out onto
based
the
it
neighborhood.
because that was the neighborhood they
Yeah.
Irish, I would say. Yeah, it was one of the
They have
other.
an Irish festival every year.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the same thing.
Huh.
I heard Jack know that on his house. It was called Irish Town, and that's where a lot of the Irish people live. And
Huh.
and that's why the church faces that direction, because it would look down on the Irish town.
That's interesting. Right. So also, you know, the carriage, when we go back over here to the carriage company or the carriage factory, and you're also down here where it used to be, Manhattan's. It's a different bar now. It's Jig and Reel or something,
Yeah.
right?
That boy's
That
sticking up.
in that area, there again, no Jackson. That was a big lumber yard. It was a mill company. So yeah, so we'll head down that way.
So posting company is your horse connection today?
Yeah, posting company.
I had no.
Which I have a story about something. Yes.
Mom and Dad bought their bus from posting company. You're the leader. Okay, I'll follow Rusty.
This is an important spot.
You see the sign?
I'm not sure.
Wasn't that long ago? They took all the bricks
So I can put them back out.
They both sides. They hit both sides.
Okay, how many of you remember the underground? We were just talking about that, right? In the boiler room, in the boiler room at 4 a.m. Nobody here from Gen X. Okay. Okay. All right. So I wanna say two things. One is back to Vine. Remember I mentioned the library up there? Library is one of my favorite topics. The first building in this 100 block, like right here on the corner of Vine, that parking lot that you go through, that used to be Vine Avenue, right? Lots of things got reconfigured middle of the 20th century.
You're good. You're good.
Middle of the 20th century.
I'm watching.
With urban renewal, but that first building was the first library. And so I've highlighted on here, you'll see it's under construction on this map. These buildings that you see here, these tall, long skinnies, and you see JFG, this is all part of that evolution of industrial areas, right? By the turn of the 20th century, 1890, and in 1930, Knoxville became a really important wholesaling place, and a lot of it happened right down here. So these buildings I've highlighted, you'll notice, come in around that time as that's evolving. JFG Coffee, the JFG building, my grandfather worked there. He used to talk about like several pennies he made per hour to do the coffee, but I can remember coming down here and it would all just smell like amazing coffee. Not everybody underground, but like amazing coffee during the day, you know? So, okay, we'll head down.
Timer's dead.
Oh, he was? That's right.
They used to. They lost that. We always had free coffee.
Free coffee. That's pretty cool.
They were good.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Right, man.
Yeah, when you get out and walk around, you start to notice things that you can't when you're just flying through.
Standard copy when you're ordering the copy surgery.
Right, like it's not at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. Like a little chunk of it.
So everybody look in there.
Okay.
Look in there. There's like a twirly chute in there. Look in the window.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That twirly chute it's from this used to be a shoe factory, and they sent the shoes down. Oh, yeah, it's a shoe chute, and they left it in there.
Jennifer, do you know what that thing was? He thinks it's that pipe was to send coffee over.
Do we know what that pipe is?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
He thinks they sent coffee over here because used to they had the coffee plant was moved.
Yeah, look up here.
Yeah, that's cool. Is
The
that what it
ghost
was?
sign. There's here. And over here. Can you see the one up here too? American clothing. Yeah.
Everybody look at the ghost signs. The painted ghost of the sign.
And look at the rubbers. Shoes and rubbers. I'm just saying.
So this is what warehouses used to look like. Like not just on the side of the not just everything was pretty metal buildings out the freeway. Okay, I'm getting ready to hand this map around. But the other thing I want you guys to pay attention to out here is, again with the horses, this was the last livery stable left in Knoxville. Like it's faced onto the 100 block of Central, but this is the last one that was listed. And when we get to the other block, I'm just going to talk about the evolution of this place as a stockyard, right? Because there were animals here, lots of animals. So I'll send that around. You can look at that map. And then we'll just head on down here to the other corner. Jennifer, question. Yes. Yes.
That parking garage that you said related to Staples, with the arch roof,
The parking garage.
parking garage that they tore down.
Yeah, it might arch. It might have been.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you look on that map, you can see it was a building that came through and then it was this way and it was out.
Yeah.
And I think it's where I think the outlet or the address on K Street is that. Like, remember where the County Goose, like you walk in that corner, and I think that's where that was where you got in there. And then but there's lots of good livery stable history. The other thing, this building, the Emporium building, that started out as clothing Emporium building. Hall Tate was there eventually, and you can see it's vacant until I think 1903 on the map. All right, let's head on
Hey,
down.
before we go, can I get a picture of everybody?
Her dad was building this right there. That's a train.
Oh, you know this, right?
She does. Yeah.
Let's take
Texas.
different Texas.
We've done it in one day.
I'll add some. Yes.
Really are.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we'll head, and then we have somebody here who knows about the train wreck in this building.
Hmm. You talk about the brothel.
Yes.
All right. I wasn't gonna scare you with the microphone tonight with this big crowd.
I need to practice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm carrying it, so
So it's
picking up some.
Remember what I say.
Too big a crowd tonight.
Okay. All right. We'll let everybody catch up.
I asked if we're going. Asked if we're
So
going
if
to
you
talk about
like
the
go
brothel.
signs inside this
We are.
building, there's an amazing go sign. I was just saying, if you like go signs, inside this shop is an amazing go sign. That wall over there. Yeah, it's like the inside the building where they just built onto the building. You can see there was a sign that used to be outside. And so we have somebody. Your dad used to own.
Yeah,
Okay.
our family had 111 East Jackson.
Oh wow.
And for the looks of it, there were 3 buildings lost that night. But the railroad cars jumped the track in the middle of the night, rolled into the back of all 3 that are missing. And at that point, Christopher had not refurbished anything, and this was not a good part of town. Big Don's was down there, and he had some ladies of the night.
Yeah.
So
Costumes are real.
Yeah, Big Don's. If you remember Big Don's.
Yeah. Oh, good junk. That's what he told me, Jill. Good junk.
Yeah, so it was too expensive to fix. And so they just tore them down. But I grew up in kindergarten sleeping in the. It looked pretty much like these. I don't know if it was as fancy as those because I don't remember it, but it was at least three floors. And you had those huge wooden elevator doors that you opened, and then you went down, and I was always too scared to go down because it was so dark and the steps were about that wide.
Yeah.
But it was a sad night. We got a call in the middle of the night. I think I was in high school. That trains had jumped the track and didn't know quite what was going to happen. So that's kind of what happened. But he was a food broker for JFG and sold their ball jars and lids. And
What was his name?
Which building was JFG?
What was his name?
Alfred Orr.
Okay.
Is his son still there? So, that was close. And Cecil Hurst Auction House was across the street somewhere. But, so that was a little bit of history there.
Yeah.
Frank's Place, which was a grocery store, was right around the corner.
Yeah. I can remember this place. Where's Ronnie? So my story about myself is I worked at Patrick Sullivan's and I quit. I don't even remember why I quit, but I was so mad and I quit and I never quit a job. And I went right out. There's a door back there. I went right out that door and the bartender, whose name was Carter Burns, was so impressed he followed me out and I got a date. So there's my story.
Is Carter Burns still alive?
I didn't live. I worked.
No, I don't know.
That was my story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is Carter Burns still alive?
I don't know. I think he's a stockbroker.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So back on, we talked about Big Don. I've mentioned Patrick Sullivan, which reportedly had a brothel in it. I don't know.
There's still ghosts in there.
I've heard that it's haunted.
He was a good Catholic.
Is that while you were working?
He had to make money though.
a lot of busy area.
You had to
Was
make
a
money.
busy area, very busy area. So I'm gonna. This is my last sort of set, and what I've highlighted is First Creek, right? Because there's a lot of geography on that. First Creek is, I guess it's all around here somewhere. But you can see on these early maps it used to be exposed.
Oh my God, did you smell the hot?
And we were talking about livery stable and how there was one that was in the back. There was also one that came around this corner, and I think Hannah's Cafe was the. I think it's either right there or I'm pretty sure just about has to be Hannah's. Was the horse and mule exchange,
Oh,
right? And so there were lots of like it was a big auction, and so fun things people did, right? And I remember there used to be a lot of antique stores down here, and I can remember seeing part of that, what was a stable on the other side of this antique store. Yeah, and so also what you're going to see on these maps are down on Hume Street at the intersection. That was the Knoxville Stockyard, which later moved to the other side of Old City. And I can remember buying horse feed down here in Old City. Oh, really? That's how old I am, but it's like a 2-second memory. You know, the stockyards. By around the middle of the 20th century, the stockyards were over here.
At the co-op?
At the
Farmers
co-op.
co-op?
Yeah, at the farmers co-op. Yeah. Yeah, so there were still, like, last livery stable was listed in the 40s. Mid-century stockyards are still down there. I got horse feed at the co-op. There was an ag co-op there. Yeah. And the Lays. So where the ball field was, what they tore down was Lay's packing plant. Yeah. And so they would have the pigs come in, and that's how the sausage got made. Yeah. Flat Lily. You can still see the machinery.
yep.
Now, when you got the pig trucks at the end of the town, this is a great place to come.
Right. You can have breakfast. Yeah. Breakfast.
Pancakes and coffee.
Yeah. And of course, Manhattan's was there. I saw a picture of this and it said soda water on it. So I think at one point they were making soda water here. Huh.
Annie's was the first contemporary new business to move in here.
Yeah,
Right?
Annie's.
Is it in the makeup or is it in that one of those two storefronts?
It was in one that you went in that way. You went in that way, and then they had it like covered back there, and you could go into the back, the patio area. Is the melting pot still here?
Yeah.
Melting pot. Yeah.
I'm sad that Flat Lily. I mean, I'm glad they kept the building.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty interesting though that stuff is still there. I don't know if that's just left over from
It's just
it.
left there.
It looks cool though. They should keep it.
So we'll just head back.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.